We're talking horse racing on Proline TV. Thanks for tuning in. And if you've been with us the last few weeks, you know how hot we are. These hot streaks don't last very long. So hopefully you were with us the last few weeks, and hopefully we can remain hot. We have some big races to talk about this week at Gulfstream Park. Jon Hardoon, of course, joining us from the Ragas and Sheets. And John, we're on a nice little run over the last 3 weeks, winning all 6 of our races for the last 2 shows. And I believe it's like 8 out of the last 9 or something like that. So, it's a lot of fun when you win.
Yeah. It's like anything else. You might as well take advantage while the going is good.
Yeah. So last week, this were the races at the fairgrounds. And, of course, it was we had a Derby race, too, that we have to which was the Derby race? That was the Lecomte. So the first race that we did last week, which was the Louisiana, that's one we hit with Hit Show. Matter of fact, the $2 Exacta paid $58. And that was because the 9, I can't even pronounce that. I mean, the nerve of the owner of the horse to name this horse this, and to force the track announcer to keep saying this horse's name over and over again. It's like, man, I don't know how often you have to, learn how to pronounce a horse's name like that and not screw it up. Anyway, the 9 did a really good job of holding off one of the favorites that would have ruined a really good Exacta. So that was nice. But then in the Lecomte, then again, this is a 20-point race.
Yeah, but also remember what happened. The track came up sloppy. The weather was really bad, and the track was a total mess. And, I don't know how much credence I would put into that race, but take nothing away from the Brad Cox horse, who ran very well. I think it was only his second start. The track was a tiring track. Horses were coming from out of it, and, so I don't know. Again,
yeah, that was the one where it was really he went way outside.
Yeah, but if you watch the races that day, as the day went on, that's the way horses were winning. You had no shot if you were a speed horse, So a lot of times you have to adjust on the fly and make audibles. But remember, we're doing it 4 days in advance, so we're really up against it, to tell you the truth. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I remember we talked about how I put in the Lucas horse, and sure enough, the Lucas horse is looking like he's actually going to hold off and win there for a little while. See, there's Lucas again. He's doing it. But then again, the 2 favorites, or of course the 1 favorite, Built, came from the inside and looked like he was going to win it. But Disco Time flew way outside. Great ride by Florent Giroux. And that's the Cox horse you mentioned. He started with a 14 and then a 13. So I wonder whether or not he has improved upon that. And that is a horse that has now got 20 points for the Kentucky Derby. And then John had the bonus race, by the way, in race number 9. That actually started the day. You had the 3 horse in that one and also hit the Exacta. That was a $2 Exacta, $47 payout.
Yeah, so that was good.
Yeah, so we had a really good day last week, really a couple of good weeks, and let's see if we can keep this rocking here at Gulfstream. Later on, by the way, at the end of the show, when I say goodbye to John, I have a bonus race that I am going to handle. So John's got to run, so I'm going to take over for him. But that's okay. I've got a lot of obviously John's tips, and of course I've got the sheets, so I'm going to do the very best to give you some really good information a little bit later on. With the bonus race will be race number 10, actually. That is the Pegasus World Cup Filly and Mare Turf race, but that's later on. Let's get started now with race number 12. Boy, these are 2 really good races, John, at Gulfstream Park. The Pegasus Day World Cup Turf International, and then the Pegasus World Cup. So you got the Pegasus. Basically, it's what? It's like a big Pegasus Day on turf and on dirt. That's basically what it is.
Correct. The Pegasus Turf Race, I believe the purse is $1 million, and the Pegasus World Cup is $3 million. If you remember, a few years ago, that race was actually $12 million, and people would have to pay to get into it and buy a stall and all the rest. But now they're just putting up $3 million, and the owners and trainers don't have to put up any money. But let's get to it.
Okay, so this is a mile and an eighth.
These are pretty competitive races. These are not easy races. They're very difficult to handicap, and I certainly would be looking for value in both of these races because, in my opinion, the favorites are no better than a lot of price horses that you're going to see.
And they're both 1.125 mile races.
One's on the turf. The 12th race, the first race we're going to do is on the turf. The second race, the 13th race, is on the main track.
And the 12th race will start about right around 5 o'clock, a little before 5 Eastern on Saturday. And the morning line favorites here, we've got the 7. That's the 2-to-1 shot, Nation's Pride. That's the Appleby horse. And then the 5 is next in line. And the 5 is Integration, a 3-to-1 shot. So those are the two top dogs as far as the morning line is concerned. Starting with that 7 horse, John, Nation's Pride. Anytime you got Appleby and William Buck combo, and it's a good horse and it's a morning line favorite, that's going to be a really good one. The horse won the Arlington Million. Also won another Grade 1 race. That was where was that at? What's WO again?
Woodbine.
Okay. They ran a 6 in that race. Also ran a 6 at Saratoga in the Grade 1 Manhattan, finished second in that race. But then he went to, where did he go? Where was that? Where did he come? Bahrain?
Yeah, something like that. He ran horrible there. He got beat 20 lengths. He actually ran a 16. You're missing the number on that race. It was a clunker. He absolutely ran horrible.
Yeah, so that was not good. And that's where he's coming back from. So he's a 2-to-1 shot coming back from overseas and a clunker. So what do you think about Nation's Pride?
Well, let's go through the field. Nation's Pride is a good horse, but at 2-to-1, I mean, nothing special in my opinion, and I would certainly try to beat him.
All right.
Charles Appleby has a lot of success when he ships to this country. He's if you anyone that watches the Breeders' Cup races and everything else sees how much success he really has. But this horse, I don't know. He's now 6 years old. And again, I will certainly try to beat him.
All right. Well, let's start at the top. Siege of Boston. Now, this is not actually a bad long shot to try to make some money horse. He's got a couple of 9s. I know he hasn't been doing great lately. But the reason I just say that is, look, he's 20-to-1. And if you look at it, this horse is actually, over the last 7 or 8 races, he's been in a lot of big stakes races. And he's actually been a really low-priced horse in a lot of those races. Now you're getting 20-to-1. So that's why I'm saying, you're always looking for bargains. And that's how I look at him as. I look at him as a bargain. I don't look at him as one of my top horses. But again, I think at 20-to-1, it's not the worst idea in the world to try to make some money if he hits.
I don't like this horse at all. I don't give him much of a shot. I mean, you're going to need a single digit. This horse hasn't run a single digit in a long time, since last June, and he only had 2 9s all of last year. You have horses in here that consistently run those numbers and that are the same price. So for that reason, I would play against. I don't like this horse.
The 2 also has a couple of 9s, but they have been in the last 3 races, including a 3-race win streak, winning a Grade 1 at Del Mar, a Grade 2 at Del Mar, 15-to-1 shot, Formidable Man.
He's fine. I mean, he's better than, I would rather bet the 2 at 15-to-1 than the 1 at 20-to-1, to be honest with you, because this is a newly turned 4-year-old who's getting better. 2 of his last 3 races were 9s, like you said. So, if I was looking for a long shot to get into tries or supers, maybe somewhere on the bottom, I would give him a shot.
All right. The 3. Now, here's my adoptive horse lately, Mi Hermano Ramon. I've made money with this horse the last 2 races. And lo and behold, this horse has posted a 6 and a 5 in those last 2 races. I mean, this is clearly the best sheet horse in this race. If you look at just this year, 11-9, 6 and 5 is going in the perfect direction. You're getting 8-to-1. I don't know if you're going to get 8-to-1. Do you think you're going to get 8-to-1, John?
You may. I mean, they have plenty of horses to bet. They're going to bet the Appleby horse. People in Florida are not so familiar with Mark Glatt, who does a terrific job in Southern California. But this horse has really gotten good lately, and you take nothing away from him. The fact that he ran the 5 off of the 6, 2 starts back, to me is a very strong sign. This horse will probably be my top selection.
Yeah, definitely has to be up there. Okay, and then another good option, it looks like here, is the 4, Win for the Money. Dylan Davis on board. Looking at the sheets, a little similar to the 3. Not as fast, but not that far back. 12, 9, 8, and 7 over the last 4 races. He's heading in the right direction. You're getting 12-1. He ran in the Breeders' Cup in November. That didn't go off too well. But just before that, he had a Grade 1 win at Woodbine. Followed that up with a Grade 2 Fort Lauderdale Stakes race, finishing 3rd last time out at Gulfstream Park.
What I like about this horse is that his last race was run over the Gulfstream Park turf course. I like to see horses that do it over that course. This is a must-use, and I'm certainly using him.
The 5 is Integration. Now, this is a 3-1 shot. He's got a 7. That's way back in January. Since then, the best he's had is an 8, and that was in July. His last 3 races are 11, 10, and 9. The 9 came at the Grade 2 Red Smith win in November at Aqueduct.
Well, he ran a 7 last year at Gulfstream. Actually, it was in this race. The only problem is he hasn't run a 7 since then. And at 3-1, he's a play against, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's the race they're talking. Okay. I keep forgetting we're in 2025. Yeah. So that's the one that we talked about, the 7. I was like, that was earlier this year. No, that was last year. All right, now Major Dude.
Checks, you're still writing 24 on checks that you're sending out.
Yeah, no, I don't send out checks anymore. Major Dude is the 6 horse, a 6-1 shot. You get Pletcher and Ortiz Jr. combo coming off a 9 and a win in that Fort Lauderdale Grade 2 Stakes win at Gulfstream Park. The only thing are the odds, because again, the 9s, we just talked about some 9s with some other horses, and they were getting a lot better odds. Look, this is, you got these 2 combined forces going up against each other. They're going to be formidable for sure, but I don't want to see this horse any lower than 6-1.
No, and the interesting thing is he beat the 4 horse Win for Money last time out. However, Win for Money, I think, was the favorite over him by like 10 cents or something.
Yep.
But Win for Money ran the better number, even though Major Dude beat him. So, I guess he was wide or whatever. Win for Money must have been wide or something. So that's why he earned a better figure. And I do like Win for Money better than Major Dude, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just looking at the sheets for sure. All right, now there's a Nation's Prize. The 78 is Spirit of St. Louis. Now you got Chad Brown and Gaffleone combo at 20-1 is Dangerous, coming off a win. That was a 9. Matter of fact, in the last 8 races, I think it's 8. Yep, this horse has been in single digits 7 times, and a 7 was just a couple of starts ago at Keeneland. So at 20-1, I definitely think this is a play to try to make some money.
Yeah, I was actually between Me Hermano, the 3 horse, and Spirit of St. Louis as my keys. That's how much respect I have for this horse, and I love the line on the sheet. So this horse is ready to run a 7 or better. I went to Me Hermano on top of this horse, but I'm not sure I'm making the right choice, to be honest with you. But this is a major player in here, especially at 20-1.
Yeah, 12 out of 13.
20-1, to be honest with you. He never seems to go off a big price. 2 starts back, he went off 10-1.
Yeah.
He's been the favorite most of his races on the racing form. If you see, they show you 10 races. He's been in about 7 of them. So I don't believe the morning line on this horse. I think he'll be a lot shorter.
Yeah, especially with Chad Brown and a Gaffleone combo. 12 out of 13, either first or second.
Yeah.
Come on.
So how is he going to really be 20-1? I don't know.
All right. The 9 is Balnikov, and this is you've got the motto with Murphy on board, coming off a 9, had an 8 last April, couple of 8s over the last couple of years, but he is coming off a 9, but you're getting 15-1. I think there are better options, but look, anything's possible.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to regress off the 9 and run worse, in my opinion. He had 8s to get back to. He never got back to the 8s. Listen, he's on the bubble. Obviously, odds dictate, but I'm not crazy about it.
Yeah, there's 30 starts with this horse, 6-year-old, and never at Gulfstream Park. All right, the 10 horse is Battle of Normandy, and Jose Ortiz on board at 20-1. All we have are 4 straight 12s, which actually were 4 straight wins, but the 12s are more important than the wins as far as we're concerned.
I agree with you. I don't like this horse.
The 11 is Grand Sonata. We've talked about this horse forever. Pletcher and Velasquez combo, you get 20-1. The horse has run a couple of 8s last year, most recently in September in the Grade 2 win at Kentucky Downs. He's coming off a 4th place finish in the same race we just talked about, that Fort Lauderdale race, running a 10.
Yeah, but the problem with this horse is we're now in post position. Where are we? 11 or 12, whatever.
11. Yeah,
post 11. So, I don't like this horse from this post position. He's going to have to run a lot better than an 8 from out there to win.
And again, the funny thing is you said at the very beginning, we're going through all these horses, and it's like you can only take. I think you can only take out like 1 or 2 that you go, no chance,
no shot, right?
All these other horses, if they get a really good ride, and it's possible.
Trip is going to have a lot to do with it. You're going to have to get a clean trip, and you're dealing with a 12-horse field, not always easy to do.
Yeah,
that's why you should try to concentrate on inside posts because being stuck out there is a disadvantage.
And another 20-1 shots to 12, Chasing the Crown. And this horse, 0 for 3 at Gulfstream, is coming off an 8, has 2 8s over the last 5 races.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's okay because of the 8 and the 9 that he ran earlier last year. None of them were at Gulfstream for some reason. So you need a price to use him, but he's not impossible.
All right, John. So who are you going to go with, number 1?
My top pick will be Mi Hermano, the 3.
There you go.
Let's play exact is with the 4, win for money. I'm going to throw the 7 in only because I'm using an 8-1 shot. 3 with 4, 7, and 8. The 8 is Spirit of St. Louis. 3 with 4, 7, 8. Come back, reverse them as well.
Okay. Let's see. I will then. I'm definitely using the 3 again. Not jumping off my Mi Hermano Ramon now. I'll go with the 4, as you said. Also the 6. The 6 is Major Dude. I'll play that. And
you got to use the 8.
I got to do the 8. Yeah, I have to do the 8. That's it. 3 over 4, 6, 8. John's got 3 over 4, 7, 8. And there you go. We haven't been this close with our picks in a few weeks. Maybe that's a bad sign. I don't know, because we've been really good the last few weeks. All right, let's now go with race number 13, and that is again another Pegasus race. This is the dirt race.
Big one. This is the big one, the World Cup.
Yep, and this is going to go off about 5:40 on Saturday, and we have the morning line favorites. We've got the 11. That's a 5-2 shot named Locked. That's the Pletcher horse.
We loved him last time, but I don't know if we're going to love him today from the 11 post, but we did like him last time when he won.
And then the other is, of course, the one and only White Barrio. We've been talking about White Barrio for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
3-1 shot is next in line. All right, let's start at the top. We got Mixto, and Mixto is a 10-1 shot, has 2 7s in his last 3 races, which isn't bad, including a Grade 1 win at Del Mar.
This is my top selection.
Oh, right away.
Yeah, I like the fact that he ran a 7 3 races back. The race 2 starts back was the Breeders' Cup Classic, where he didn't run well. However, that was 1.25 miles, and maybe he didn't want to go that far. And then he came right back and ran the 7- last time out. He's got time from that race. He's got the rail. He's 10-1 on the morning line, and he is my top selection in this race.
Mixto. All right. The 2 is Saudi Crown, a 9-2 shot. You got Cox and Giroux coming off a 4. That's right. He ran a 4 at the fairgrounds in December. Before that, last year, he had 3 7s out of 5 races. So he had a couple of clunkers in between. One of them at Breeders' Cup. How many times do we see that at the Breeders' Cup? Horses always have bad races there. But then again, a lot of single digits over this horse's career, which is why he is one of the favorites. 9-2 is not a low number for a horse coming off a 4, but are we expecting like a major bounce here?
I would definitely play him to bounce. The problem I have with this horse is that 2 of his last 3 races, he ran a 4, he ran a 52 starts back in the Breeders' Cup race, and then he ran a 7, 3 races back. So his bad races this year were the 52 starts back and the 21 that he ran 4 races back. What do these races have in common? What they have in common is both of those races, the 50 and the 21, his 2 worst races of the year. he had no Lasix in either one of those races.
Oh.
So he ran the 4 last time out when he was back on Lasix. And the 7 also at Fairgrounds earlier this year was on Lasix. So the last 2 bad races were both without Lasix. So for that reason, and the fact that he's off of 4.
Yeah.
You know, and I love Brad Cox because I think he's probably one of the best trainers in the world. But he's off of 4, he's off of Lasix, and he's going to be shorter than 9-2. So for that reason, I am playing against him.
All right. Next, that's all awesome information. And I wasn't taking him anyway because of the 4, but that makes me feel a lot better. Okay. New Grange is the 3 at 20-1. And New Grange has a 9. That was last January.
I think the source is scratching. They announced that he's going to run in a race in California. So I'm expecting this horse to bounce. And even if he didn't bounce, his line is not good. He's too gappy, too much time between races, and he's really not very fast off of the figures.
Yeah, a lot of too much competition right now. You have to be on top of your game in this race. Okay. Now, this is White Barrio, the 4. And, of course, White Barrio, we remember, it's a lot of big races.
We love Mufasa last time out to beat this horse, if you remember, and he beat him on the square. He ran the 6. But where's he going off the 6? He had a 4 2 years ago. You know, I guess he has a shot. You know, he never really runs a horrible race. But both his last 2 races were sprinting, and now he's stretching out to 1 1/8 miles. I don't know if he's as good as he used to be, but Saffie Joseph, he's back in the Saffie Joseph barn for the last couple of races. Listen, you could use him if you're using a price horse. I don't know. He's okay.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is the last time he raced in 1 1/8 miles, he ran a 4 at the Whitney in that win. That was August of 23, though. So now he's 6 years old, coming off back-to-back 6s. Again, the good news is both of them are at Gulfstream, but as you said, he's got to stretch it back out to 1 1/8 miles. And the price is low. Okay, next up is Koopy. Koopy is the 5 at 15-1. Pletcher and Saez combo, 11 and a 15 in the last 2 starts. I'm not sure that's going to get it done coming into this one.
No, but he does have a 7 and 8, 3 and 4 starts back. I don't like this horse in this spot.
Yeah, he ran a 7 in the Whitney and an 8 before that in the Brooklyn. Okay, and then you've got the 6 horse, Stronghold. And what am I looking at? There you go. All right, Stronghold is another horse that looks like it's coming off a major bounce situation here. He also had a 4 in the Grade 1 Malibu where he finished 2nd. But the reason why this is more of a definite bounce than Saudi Crown is because Stronghold doesn't have any single-digit numbers anywhere except the 4.
Correct. And that's why he's 10-1 and Saudi Crown is 9-2. But this horse has to react off of the 4, and he's stretching out to 1 1/8 miles. He's run 2nd at the distance, and he actually has a win at the distance, but not Saturday. Too close to the 4 that he ran last time out.
Steel Sunshine. The 7 is a 30-1 shot. Bobby DeBone is having a really nice meet. So is Dylan Davis. This horse ran 4 single digits last year, 3 8s and a 7, coming off back-to-back 10s. And a Gulfstream Park horse. This horse has run Gulfstream 18 times. Been in the money 14 of 18.
But he's 0 for 4 at the distance. The good news about the horse is that he's 30-1 and he has some number power. You know, he has an 8-3 starts back. He has a 7 and 8 earlier last year. I could see using this horse at the price.
Okay. The 8, no.
No. The 8, the 9. This is good old Mystic Dan who won the Derby.
Yeah. How did that happen? Yeah.
I don't like this horse. He was horrible last time out. We didn't like him at all.
No.
Remember at Santa Anita on opening day after Christmas in the Malibu, we were totally against this horse. If you remember, he took an 18-hour van drive to get to Santa Anita, and we were totally against him that day, and I'm totally against him again today.
Yeah, 14 and 16 in his last 2 races coming in here. So Mystic Dan. The only good thing about that is that he's 4 years old. That's about it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Next up, our an oldie but a goodie, Skippy Longstocking. And Skippy just keeps rolling along with good sheet numbers. Skippy, look at this. All single digits except the 10 at Saratoga in the Grade 1 Whitney, and that was on an off track. So Skippy, 7 last time out, 9, 8. We got a 6 last June, a 6 last April. He's 10-1. Safi Joseph Gaffleone. I'm definitely playing Skippy Longstocking.
Yeah, I could see using him. I'm using him as well. But if you want to really get technical, his last 4 races, no 6s. He had 6s before that, but maybe he's getting a little slower. I don't know. But he does have a shot to run the 6, 8, 9, 7 last time out. He's got time off. The problem is the post position, but he certainly fits, and he's 10-1.
Yeah, the time off might be good for him.
Yes, so, I agree.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Now here's Locked. The Locked is the 5-2 morning line favorite. Pletcher Velasquez, back-to-back 7s. That was December and October. Keeping in mind that the horse started off 4 races in 23, then was off for about a year, came back with a 7 and an optional claiming win, came right back after that and got a grade 2 Cigar Mile handicap win with another 7.
Yeah, we liked this horse last time out, but now Saturday he's going to be the favorite. He's breaking from a very tough post. He's also never been a mile and an eighth. His last race was a 1-turn mile at Aqueduct. Even the Santa Anita race 3 starts back, I guess that was last year in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He ran in 9-. This horse is okay. What's bad about him is the post position and the odds. You know, if he runs a 7 and the 1 runs a 7, the 1's going to beat him. And the 1 has 7s. The 1 is 10-1 mixed, though. Listen, I'm using Locked out of respect for the horse because he's a really good horse, you know, but I think he's up against it breaking from that way outside post, and there's no value.
So is that like the determining factor, like between the 2 favorites, White Barrio and Locked, do you think?
What do you mean the difference?
Well, the post positions.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to matter. It definitely is going to matter.
Is there, I mean, look, you've got a 4, you've got 6s with White Barrio. You don't have that yet with Locked.
Well, this is a lightly raised horse. He only has 6 career starts. He's making his first start as a 4-year-old. He has potential to run 5s or better.
Yeah.
And even if he runs a 5, and Mixed, though, who's breaking from the rail, runs a 7, the rail 7 is going to beat the 11 post 5. I'm just saying.
And the 7 last time out after the 7 was okay, right? Running a 7 after a 7 that you hadn't run in over a year.
Absolutely, it's a good number. It's not a bad number. It's a good number.
So, well, what are you going to do? You got the 1, and what else are you going to do?
One more horse, Power Squeeze, who's too slow.
Oh yeah, that's right, Power Squeeze. That's the filly, right?
Yeah.
So Philly is racing in this one. Yeah, and she's slow anyway.
He gets 5 pounds, but she also gets the extreme outside post, the 12 post where you don't want to be. So what I'm doing here is I am keying Mixto and Exactas for first and second, and I'm using some horses underneath. I'm using the 4, White Barrio, the 7, Steel Sunshine, 30-1, the 10, Skippy Longstocking, and the 11, Locked. There's plenty of room. The 1's going to be every bit of 10-1, maybe longer. So I have room. I'm using the 1 in Exactas first and second with the 4, 7, 10, and 11.
Oh, okay. I will. I tell you what. I'm going back to Skippy. I haven't taken Skippy in a while. I'm going to Skippy Longstocking, and I'm going to go with your 1, and then I'm also going to go.
You're using the 10 with
and
the
I'm
1?
going to use I'm using the 10 up front. Yes, and then I'm going to go with your 1, the 4. Also the 11, and that is going to do it. So that is
4, 11.
Yeah, 10 over 1, 4, 11. You got 1 over 4, 7, 10, 11. And that's going to wrap it up here for John. Now, next week, what do we have next week? Do you know?
No, that's your job.
I'm stalling. so I can look for it. Here it is. Okay, so again, and look, there's a lot of other races, big races at Gulfstream you have that we didn't talk about. Well, one I will.
7 stake races on Saturday. It's their Breeders' Cup day, kind of.
5 grade 3s, a grade 2, and the 2 grade 1s we just talked about. So you also have the Derby race at Oaklawn. That's the Southwest. It's a grade 3. So we're going to talk about that next week. So we'll do a replay on that and talk about who won there. You also have the grade 2 San Pascal at Santa Anita. Next week, we have the Withers, a Derby race at Aqueduct. We also have the Holy Bull, a Gulfstream Derby race, and we have the Grade 3 Robert B. Lewis Derby race at Santa Anita. So
well, Bassett probably has 3 horses in a 5-horse field, so who knows? But we'll pick out the best of the races. And thank everybody for tuning in. And don't forget to hit subscribe and keep those questions and comments coming. I try to reply to them every chance I get. Thank you all.
Thanks, John.
All
See
right,
you next week.
Stay safe and be well. Talk to you next week. Thank you, my friend.
All right. So, by the way, when we talk next week, I have to remind myself that in the beginning of the show, we've got to go over all of these viewer comments and questions that we haven't done. We have, like John said, we have been interacting with you guys on the message boards, but it's always nice to also point out what you guys have talked about, what we have talked about, and anything specific, because sometimes you guys don't read the message boards. So that's next week. I'll do that, and I'll give us another week to see whatever else you guys have to say. All right, so race number 10. Now, again, like I said, I went ahead and I handicapped this race myself, and then I did check with John just to make sure, am I out of whack here? And no, matter of fact, John, thumbs up with my selections. So the race is race number 10. This is the Pegasus World Cup Filly and Mare Turf Invitational Stakes race. So the morning line favorites, and it's not like you have a clear favorite in this race. So this is another good race to handicap and to try to make some money. In a 12-horse field, you've got a 4-1 shot as the morning line favorite. That's the 1. 9-2 shot to 10. And the 5 is a 5-1 shot. So that's it. So you've got 4, 9-2, and 5. So that just tells you that there's no clear top horse in this race. So that means it's wide open. And I'm just going to let you know the pick. So I'm going to go with the 3. And that's Be Your Best, a 6-1 shot. You got Safi Joseph having a very good meet, coming off back-to-back wins. And those were 11s. All right, so for instance, let's compare that to the morning line favorite. The 1, Rakia. And what have we seen from the last 2 races from Rakia, who has also won both races? 13s. So I'm getting 6-1, running 11s. Rakia is the morning line favorite, running 13s. Now, the other 2 horses I'm going to mix in with the 3 are going to be the 4, Watchtower. Now, Watchtower has got a win of a Gulfstream. Matter of fact, when was that? Well, that was a while ago. No, well, that was in April. But he's coming off a grade 3 win a couple of starts ago. What I like about Watchtower is he's a big price, so hopefully we'll get lucky. But the fact is over the 8 races in his career, he has never gone backwards with the sheet numbers. So he started with a 23 and a 21, late 23. Last year, he went from 15 to 12. All right. He went back-to-back 13s and back-to-back 12s to end his year. So he's coming off back-to-back 12s, and the 12s are better than the 13s on the morning line favorite. So that's why I'm going with Watchtower to try to make some money. And then the other horse is the 10. And he is part of the favorites we talked about, Sacred Wish. Now, I am a little bit concerned with the possible bounce. He's never run a single digit before that I can see. He's coming off an 8 and a grade 1 win. But it was December 1st, so it's been a while. You know, it's we're talking about almost 2 months. And the 8 is only a 3-point new top. So it's not like it's a 4 from a 10. You know, that's a major bounce factor we talked about. Also, this horse has been in the money 13 out of 17. Look, it's 9-2, and he's on the outside post. He's not my top pick, but out of all the other horses in this field, and especially out of the 3 morning line favorite options, that's the one I like the best. The other morning line favorite, Fluffy Stocks, the 5 at 5-1, had a 9 in October. Also had an 8 in December of 2023. No other single digits, though, that I could see here for a while. Now, this horse has been around for also a 7-year-old, 30 races, And I mean, look, if we would have, well, I don't even know, maybe we did do this horse's race in November. I can never remember that far back, but he bounced to a 14 after the 9. He ran a 9 in October and then bounced to the 14. So he does look like it's, maybe he comes back to, a better number here. But, keep in mind, this horse is getting old. And in the last 5-6 races, he's only been in the money twice, a first and a third. So I think he's vulnerable. He's a vulnerable 5-1 shot. And again, I told you about the other couple of horses. We don't know about the 11, an 8-1 shot when you got Pletcher and Red Ortiz Jr., especially since he's coming off an 11. But the 11 was a 6th place finish. It was at Gulfstream. So look, that's still an unknown. But anytime you get Red Ortiz Jr. and Pletcher coming off an 11 in this field at 8-1, you have to take notice. If I was taking another horse, like a 4th horse, I guess I would do that one. But if that number comes down, I'm not touching them. 8-1's fine, but if they're going to jump all over them to cut them in half or something like that, I'm not doing it. All right. Anyway, so there you go. 3 over 410. I'm not going to tell you John's picks, because if you want John's picks in the 10th race, you're going to have to pay for them. And we have a link in the description for that. So always remember, you can find out all of John's packages and you pay for them and all that kind of stuff. And we also have links in the description of how to purchase sheets. And we've said this before, if you want to purchase sheets and you want to follow along with us with the sheets that we go over here on these races, then you can do that. Just we have a link in the description. We also have a link in the description how you can follow any trainer or rider, owner, whatever, including trainers like Chad Summers, our old partner. So if you want to follow Chad and you want to get an email in your email box anytime Chad's horses is running, well, that's all you got to do is sign up. It's free. Sign up. It's easy. I use it. I think it's great. That's why I like to follow Chad's horses, and I get to watch them every time they run. All right. So that's it for our show. As far as Proline TV, if you're a big football fan, we've got a big football show coming up at 3 o'clock today. We're recording it, so it'll be available sometime early this evening here on Proline TV. We'll obviously talk about the big championship games in the NFL this week, wrap up the games from last week, including the college football championship game. So you can look out for that. And we also already did the golf show yesterday. The golf event starts today, though. It's a Wednesday, Saturday start because of the championship Sunday in the NFL. So if you do like playing golf, then you better get your wagers in fast, because by the time this show is posted, you don't have much time before they tee off. And again, we do our golf show every Tuesday here on Proline TV with Brady Cannon, who is a professional handicapper, just like Mr. Hardoon for horse racing. So that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in. And as John said before, subscribe, like, and share, but definitely subscribe and let us know what your comments are, questions, anything like that. All that gets the ball rolling and is also good for us here on the channel. Any way we could boost up our subscriptions, the better. And we've got some really cool things happening behind the scenes. But for now, we'll be back next week, which looks like for some Derby prep races, like the Withers and the Holy Bull and what is it? The Susan B. Lewis. What was the name of that race? The Robert B. Lewis. Excuse me. Susan B. Lewis. Isn't she the one who, what did she do? She's a famous person. Did she? Let me know. What did Susan B. Lewis do? Or was that Susan B. Anthony? Susan B. Lewis. It's early in the morning. I'm out of here. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.